Hey guys, Matty here from DCLblogger.com. Welcome to the show. This is my first podcast in what will hopefully be a long series, many years, hopefully in the NFT world of podcasting. I have a very special guest here who runs and owns I think it's over $1 million portfolio in the NFT space. So if you want to talk investing, if you want to talk reasons why NFTs are hot, the perfect guest, WhaleShark, welcome.
Matty, thanks for having me on. And once again, I'm truly honored to be kicking off this hopefully extremely long podcast journey for DCL, the brand of DCL Blogger and Matty.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. I haven't even thought of a name yet. So I don't even know if I'm going to run with DCL Blogger or think of something cool, like maybe Zima Blue or something.
Curating NFT.
That's a good one. Yeah, I don't know yet, but we'll see. But yeah, man, let's dive into it. A quick 1 minute background. I don't want to talk too much about the background because let's get into NFTs. But just quickly, how did you get into the NFT space? What was your journey, business-wise, crypto-wise, just before that NFT point?
Gotcha. Sure thing, Matty. So entry point into crypto would be in 2012 when I bought my first Bitcoin. So I am a BTC OG. Coming from 2012 to 2015, took half or more of my paycheck every single month and just plunked it into Bitcoin because I really loved the value proposition it had with digital cash. Come around 2015, I had a little bit of a gripe that I couldn't really transfer my Bitcoin in less than half a day or sometimes less than a day if the network was congested. And then after that, took the entire bag of BTC and moved it into F. So went full F degen in 2015. It boded well. Once again, I'm not a maximalist on any point or on any project, and managed to maximize returns there. Entered into the NFT space in August of 2019. Through the collecting of cards on Gods Unchained. Matty, I think that's where I met you first as well, right?
Yeah.
Because that's where you started to do content.
Yeah, exactly. I remember just coming across this wallet and I was like, holy shit, this dude has every diamond legendary, which I thought was impossible. And then, fell down
dude,
the rabbit hole.
I think we've once again I was really impressed because at that point in time I know that you were very you were very well known for talking about all of the developments in Decentraland, and just seeing you bring that professionalism to GU. Once again, you put a lot of oil on that fire towards that collection as well.
Nice.
So collected diamond legendaries, collected a lot of gold legendaries to back up those diamond legendaries, and just after that, really just going through OpenSea, falling down the rabbit hole. Entering into super rare, known origin, maker's place, collecting crypto art, then after that into the metaverse, and I think we span over about 52 projects right now.
Nice. Wow.
I guess the final part of the story is started up Whale in May, and here we are.
Yeah, we'll get into Whale really deep later on because that's obviously a very amazing project. But the NFT space is deep, and it looks like you've gotten in at the right times for these crypto assets. Bitcoin at 2012, did you say? And then
2012. Yep.
Damn, man. And then Ethereum at 2015. So I guess just follow WhaleShark. That's the bottom line.
Luck of the draw, my friend. Luck of the draw.
Yeah, well, obviously my confidence is now multiplied considering your background and now that you're hot on NFTs. So
thank you.
All right, man. So, what's the aha moment? What was like the flare on like, oh shit, man, NFTs is going to be the next big thing?
Well, I think the aha moment always comes when you can draw a parallel between something that has already succeeded in the traditional world, and you can see how that parallel is going to come out in the digital world. So the aha moment for me was, I think it was some mini aha moments to a big aha moment. But when we heard that Chris Clay from Magic the Gathering Arena was coming across the GU as a game director, it incentivized me to start looking at it and to start playing. Having played, Magic the Gathering, when I was 10, 11, and 12, I immediately recognized, the quality of the game compared to other TCG games that exist on the market, digital or physical. And at the same time, back when I was 10, 11, and 12, I wish I had that Black Lotus. I wish I had that Shivan Dragon, right?
Yeah.
Or I wish I had the Mox Rubies and the Mox Gems. So immediately I could draw the parallel and say, hey, now with NFTs in terms of TCG, now I have the funds to be able to buy the most valuable, collector cards. And at the same time, they're never going to degrade in physical quality. They can only get more rare because, as God Unchained decides to do other things, these are the OG cards. And then after that, finally moving into crypto art, I mean, the big aha moment to me was, again, is digital art worth something? And if digital art is worth something, is there any other technology that's going to be able to prove the scarcity and provenance of digital art? And that aha moment literally brought me to the fact that, NFTs will inevitably, or NFT technology will inevitably become an enabler for the commercialization of digital art. And, from an investment perspective, besides the fact that I do love art, from an investment perspective, it makes total sense to invest in digital art now that it's backed by NFT technology.
Mm-hmm. I think I can totally relate with you with the Gods Unchained thing because I totally degened into that. And it was one of those things where you could draw parallels to my own childhood. I was like, I used to play Pokemon. I used to play a couple of more TCGs, and I downloaded. I've always known about Hearthstone, and I know that the game's pretty strongly, connected to the mechanics of that. So I downloaded that, and I was like, man, I'm addicted to Hearthstone. Like Gods Unchained for sure will be something big. And I used to play, and then I started playing some Gods Unchained, and opening those packs, I was like, man, this is so addictive, and all those mechanics come together. It makes you realize, if these hit mainstream, obviously NFTs have value. Once these companies ramp up marketing, surely they're going somewhere, right?
Right. And I've seen you tweet a couple of times about Pokemon, right? If Pokemon ever comes out with NFT, you're going to go full degen, aren't you?
I'll have zero money, but I'll have a lot of cool Pokemon cards, and that's all that's going to matter.
Dude, can you imagine? I mean, again, imagine. Let's say Pokemon really does come to, or NFTs really do come to Pokemon. I mean, you can go far beyond cards. You can go into the actual 3D representation of a Pikachu, of a Charizard, and not only are they can be stat based, right? But one of the things I love about NFTs is that you have multiple use cases, right? So you can have a stat based, you can have the same NFT. It can be used in a game based on their stats. And at the same time, hey, dude, why don't I plunk down like a 50-foot Charizard in the middle of DCL as a sculpture? Right?
Exactly. Or you could even just put it on as a wearable. Like that NFT is like your ticket across platforms, across games. They can open up a massive metaverse themselves. Pokemon can, from trading cards to their own traditional gameplay, strategy gameplay. And you're right, man. Like the NFTs on paper or just like visually, they look like they're just very simple things. But the token and the interoperability is just mind blowing.
Dude, good idea. Taking it even one step further. I mean, one of the reasons why I couldn't play Pokemon Go is because back then, when it first launched, I was actually working in China, and they restricted the function of Google Maps over in China, so really I couldn't collect any.
Did you play before that though?
No, I eventually got to play it. But dude, what happens if they translated Pokemon Go into Decentraland or into Cryptovoxels or into Sandbox, and that you're no longer restricted by the physical geographic limitations, and you can just wander around this metaverse and collect Pokemon, without worries in terms of is it going to work or not?
Exactly. And like those metaverses can build the games and the mechanics, and the community can build around the ecosystem. And the token is what grows in value because suddenly it has multiple utility use cases. So, man, it's we can just keep taking it one step further if you wanted to.
Dude, I think one of the most interesting things is also, I think, you and I being in Gods Unchained, we've always heard about the vision of Immutable. Talking about, hey, if you own this card, the interoperability of this card can span across multiple platforms, and it can be something different in each different platform. So, I think we're at the point in time, use case speaking, we're just scratching the tip of the iceberg.
Definitely, definitely. I feel like we're just kind of in the education slash stabilization of projects phase. And once they start to really, you know, push out marketing and really good quality projects come out, hopefully in 2021, 2022, and then interoperability becomes a focus, I think we're going to see a level of NFTs that's just beyond anything what people are thinking right now.
Dude, can't wait, man.
Can't wait, man. Yeah, same, same. So, yeah, next question. I was going to ask you what project got you in, but obviously that was Gods Unchained. Biggest holdings and what were your reasons for that?
Oh, okay. So, I think that's that's a question that many of the, especially over the last few weeks, that many of the, I guess, institutional analysis firms have also been putting forth over in Twitter as well. Well, I guess once again, my collection belongs to the whale community, so it's a whale community's collection, or what we call the vault. What I can say is that when analyzing our major holdings, you can split it up really into two different types, right? The quantity or the value. In terms of quantity wise, it has to be digital land, right? Simply because we bought up so much digital land in the sandbox. Which again, it's a project to be launched. Very bullish on it, very supportive of the team behind there. But sandbox would probably form the bulk of our. Is
that in quantity or is that in value?
In quantity,
Okay,
but
okay.
quickly approaching value as well. By the way, so if I'm looking at this right now, so I just pulled up my monthly audit. The monthly audit was just released 2 days ago, being done professionally, independently by nonfungible.com. The sandbox accounts for 49% in terms of volume of our total assets. But however, in terms of a value perspective, I mean, we saw a huge increase over the last 1 month. It only accounts for 13% of the value. What is really driving the bulk of the value in our collection today would be crypto art. So I'm just adding up these numbers here, but basically what you're looking at is roughly about 50% of the value of the vault is being driven by crypto art that can be found from Super Rare, Maker's Place, Known Origin, or buying directly from artists such as Pascal Boyard or Joy, John Orion Young.
Nice. Yeah, good on people like that for just like doing their own thing, right?
Dude, I love it. I love it when they do that. Because again, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, what do they do? Do they just open up their own store on OpenSea?
Yeah, I mean, it's so simple. It's so simple these days, right? Basically, all they need to do is they need to create a contract, and then after that, they just mint all of those items on that smart contract. It was a little bit daunting for me a month or two back because I hadn't done it before. But once you hop onto websites like NFT, so Infinity, as well as Mintable, they make the process so easy. One of the things that we did, it was for Whale Store, right? Was able to do that, have minted over 100 items already. Easy.
Nice. Yeah, it's kind of like the back end of this is obviously very technical, but I don't know if you do website development or anything, but like WordPress and Shopify, a couple of websites that obviously make things extremely easy where you can learn it within a day, really.
Correct. I think we will see more artists. One of the artists that I know that you also really love as well, that's underrepresented in the portfolio right now, is Josie, right? And she runs her own contract as well. Runs her own storefront on OpenSea. And really, if you wanted a different feel to it, not that difficult to create a website and pipe those NFTs into a website with a different feel. Yeah,
definitely. I think we can get really deep into each topic. I'm just going to keep going to the next one.
Dude, don't worry. You and I can talk NFTs all day. I know.
We're like on the same page with almost everything so far.
Correct.
Dude, do you think you're a conservative investor?
I do believe that I am. Once again, I think if you look at projects in the vault, so let's take it on two levels. So the projects that I do invest in tend to be projects with number one, an extremely established team. with a proven track record, right? Whether that track record is 10 years or 2 years. And then from asset perspective, I always buy the most expensive asset. Or we always buy the most expensive asset within that ecosystem. I mean, if you're in my joint love, God's Unchained. The vault owns 2 of the 3. Used to be 4, but one got burned in a non-usable account. But yeah, correct.
Did actually
2 out of 3 mythics. Oh, dude, the account was never activated again. Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean? This is whoever claimed it whoever got it never claimed it.
Yeah, never. I mean, they never claimed it, but again, kudos to Immutable for doing the right thing, right? Because the blockchain is immutable, and that account did win, but they sent Tethys, which was the 4th mythic, to that account, and to my knowledge, it's never been it's never been active again.
It's just sitting there,
right?
Oh man,
it's just sitting there, right?
Yeah. So Tethys, I think, was like some sort of raffle community reward thing, right? There wasn't.
That is correct.
Right.
It was based on. I think it was based on the raffle tokens, right? So having the raffle tokens, and after that they did a lucky draw and sent that mythic to one of the accounts which held held the lucky raffle token.
Yeah.
But Maddie, I think I am. Once again, I think I am conservative within this. I am conservative within the scope of crypto, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, we only invest in really, really solid projects.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of solid projects that I don't invest in as well, for other reasons. And then after that, when we do go into a project, we buy the most expensive assets, which also tend to have the highest level of appreciation. When you talk about art, same thing. Every single artist that we do collect, there's an extensive amount of due diligence that goes into, understanding, who is this artist, what is their following, do they have the ability to go mainstream? It's buying what you love, but also doing the due diligence.
100%. And I think, in 2017, we saw this whole movement of, oh, look, there's a new company with a new landing page, and it's 2 days old, and they're promising big things, and suddenly they get funded for $25 million. So, I think, you're right. You have your own checklist of things you want to go through. Team is one of them. And for me as well, I consider myself, even though I make purchases and my wallet's public, and obviously yours is too, and people are like, oh, Matt is buying this, or WhaleShark's buying that. We're pretty conservative in the sense that there still has to be due diligence and reasons why we purchase things, right?
Right. Dude, I mean, how many projects are you invested in? I know that from my understanding, I know that your main holdings are Decentraland, God's Unchained, and Crypto Art, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Just probably 3 or 4 out of 50?
Yep.
Not many, man. I don't mind diversifying, but my thing is that I like to invest in something that I can provide value to myself. And I think that's you too, in that sense.
You and I have the exact same philosophy. I mean, I saw many posts, right, from yourself, as well as, I know that Andrew from Zimmered also spoke about it a tiny bit, but what is it, landholders versus, true investors, right?
Mm-hmm.
If as an investor, you're not going to provide value to the product, then number one, chances are that project might not succeed. Simply because you're just holding and waiting for that price appreciation. And number two, you're going to get cut off from all those other opportunities, as you and I both know, that sometimes the benefit doesn't stop at just owning the NFT, but it comes out in tokens in the future, continued participation, new things that crop up, new NFTs from that project. And if you're just holding, you're not going to get those.
Exactly. And I think this is the mindset that there's an educational process that needs to happen when people shift over from cryptocurrency investing, buying and selling, trading, whatever it may be, to the NFT space. And there are some assets you can just hold on to and do nothing with, right? Just like art and stuff. But the utility-based ones, like you mentioned, obviously cards, or maybe really strong and popular items in a game, or obviously definitely land. Land is definitely something that you cannot just hold on to and disappear.
Exactly. And I love what you guys do at DCL is very similar to what I did with Cryptovoxels, right?
Hmm.
In Cryptovoxels, I believe we own over 200 different parcels in CV. Owning 200 parcels doesn't mean we hold 200 parcels and leave it empty, right? So basically what we did was we leased it out for free for 1 year. And it's coming up actually 2 years now. And giving the opportunity for artists to have a free gallery
Hmm.
in CV and to do whatever they want with that piece of land.
Yeah.
Just commenting on art. I mean, from art perspective, just buying the art itself provides a lot of market validity to the artist. But what happens when you take that art and you display it in the metaverse? I think we've seen it. We've seen it with Jose Delbo, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
He has this huge, awesome gallery or a place where he showcases his art. It drives more people to see his art, and they start to FOMO into collecting it. Um, so
Yeah.
I think there's ways to participate in every single aspect of NFTs. With crypto, you're absolutely right. I hold F. There's not much I can do about F, right?
Mhm.
I can talk to people about it, which is great. But that level of participation with NFTs is just so much higher than any other project in crypto.
Right, exactly. And with Decentraland as well, that was my entry into art was the whole, oh, wait a second, I can compound my value here. I can run conferences just like I normally do, but have my artists hanging on the wall. So suddenly when hundreds of people come to these conferences, they see this art, they can click and follow the artist if they want. And just like in the real world, where if you go to a house, you see some famous paintings, we can kind of have that same movement in Cryptovoxels and these metaverses. So,
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think that has started, or sorry, it did start and continues to be, one of the main purposes of the metaverse, right? Use
mm,
cases of the metaverse. Life is going digital, art is going digital. Um, I can't really buy 1,000 TV screens or 1,000 murals and stick them in my house. The only place that I can showcase my art collection to the entire world is in the metaverse,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
right?
Um, how do NFTs fit into your portfolio in the sense of
Hmm.
I look at it from my perspective, and it started off with just like an experiment. Now it's now it's a pretty big chunk of my portfolio, and I'm like trying to go back and forth. And like, oh, should I just hold on to Ethereum until it's like thousands of dollars and then spend, or should I just do it now? But like, do you have a strong number that you stick to, or do you just
I
we don't have to
Once
talk
again,
percentages if you don't want to,
no,
but
no,
in
no,
terms
no.
of
I don't worry. I'm absolutely transparent when it comes to this. It's just that some people hate me saying this. But just in all honesty, NFTs represent an extremely small portion of my portfolio.
Mhm.
But while that being said, it is also the portion of my portfolio that I am the most passionate about. Um, it was because NFTs, dude, I mean, in all honesty, crypto art and all of these digital assets are going to need to times 10 times 100 for it to become something that that keeps me up at night, right? In terms of value.
Mhm.
But for the time being, I just collect. I collect what I love. I try to collect what the community loves, as I'm still using my own, my own funds to populate the vault. Um, I, you know, I, okay, so if I was to answer your question very directly, NFTs probably account for from 2 to 5%,
Mhm.
2 to 5% of my total portfolio. And then after that, the remaining assets that I do hold are things like Ethereum, Tezos. Lately, I've invested into Uniswap. So Uni,
Mhm.
Sand, which once again is something that I'm very bullish on.
I've got some sand.
Um, you got some sand as well,
I
dude.
got
I
some
am
sand, man.
mine.
I
I
mean, I've
am
got some
mining the
mana,
hell
so
out
might
of
as well get
sand.
some sand, right?
Dude, I can't wait to see those type of currencies really really play a major role in the metaverse. And I know that Mana has done an extremely good job
Mhm.
compared to any single other metaverse platform in using that as a digital currency.
Yeah, I
But
mean, for me, it's been an experiment to see what they're doing, and being in the community. Like I said, I don't invest in anything until unless I can be really integral to the project, right? So with DCL, I always have calls with them and talk to them and see which companies I can bring to their attention, blah blah blah. But with Mana, and I know that there's discussion in currently there being a 2.5% burn fee for trades. Instead of burning that, why don't we just distribute it to landowners or Mana holders?
Dude,
And so
that's
it
a
increases the
fantastic
mana,
idea.
it increases the mana value. Everyone gets remunerated. People have funds to build on their land, etc., etc.
And currently you can use mana. So I know that currently for DCL you use mana firstly for so several use cases, right? Firstly, you use it to be able to nail down your nickname, right, or your handle in the universe, in the metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
The second way is that you can use it to buy wearables, right?
Yep.
And then the third way I heard, and sorry, I haven't been able to do this yet, is but you guys can actually buy art from Super Rare using mana. Is that correct?
That's right.
That's insane.
Yeah, so
that is insane.
I think Decentraland is going to put my vision into play, which is RuneScape, right? I used to play a lot of RuneScape. I don't know if you did as well, or like these digital Warcrafty MMO kind of games. I used to play a lot of RuneScape, and all I used to do in RuneScape was just buy and sell stuff. I used to hang out at the marketplace, sell my 5 gloves for 10,000 RuneScape gold, and then sell them at this price, and then buy back in, and then 10 to 12 hours a day, I was just sitting there on the marketplace buying and selling stuff. So I think DCL are going to go the same way, in the sense of have like that virtual bartering, trading kind of spot, and to some level compete with the other marketplaces, but more complement the current projects that are in existence. So
that's insane. No, I used to play Ultima Online, right? So I think similar. Once again, similar in the fact that you and I are very attracted to the economics of a game rather than the gameplay sometimes.
We just stare at the money moving. I'm like, whoa.
But I really think, again, I think the structure that DCL has built with Mana is really, they're really a pioneer in terms of can I have a native digital currency for the metaverse? I know that CV tried with color, but again, you can't have people buy color for their plots. So I think we're going to start to see more and more.
Yeah, I wonder if an airdrop model might work well for Ben for CV. Because it has to have a utility. But I think I feel like NFT projects are doing themselves a disservice to a certain level to not expose themselves within ERC20. That is the broader language of the crypto. It's a catch-22, really.
I think it's inevitable. So hear me out on this one. I think it is inevitable that any single NFT-based project platform, they need to issue their own ERC20 in terms of governance. And hear me out on this one. The reason why is because the success of these platforms are very reliant on the creators as well as the collectors. Or the players in all of these platforms, and very very often there are requests, there are requests for development, there's requests for governance, there's requests for management that can't be done by a single team or single organization without really listening to the community. I would honestly be surprised if you and I speak same time next year, and all of the major NFT-oriented platforms do not have some sort of either profit sharing or governance token in place.
I would love that. I hope NFT projects are like at the top 100 on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. Let's use CoinGecko.
CoinGecko. I think it'll happen pretty soon. Because the other side of it is, if you want to retain your creators, if you want to retain your collectors, the barrier to entry to build any of these platforms is so low, right? I even as a non-technical guy myself, I could probably plunk down $50,000, $100,000 and replicate a business model very, very easily, right?
True.
If you really do want to create that stickiness, then you got to give your creators, collectors, and players skin in the game.
That's true. Yeah, community is definitely very difficult to replicate. The tech and the visuals. At the end of the day, you can pay someone to do that, but you can't pay someone to build a community.
You can. Yeah,
it's underrated, to be honest, because you see, like every day I get a message or two, someone asking, what do you think of this project that's coming up, or that project that's coming up, and I'm like, dude, I just can't be bothered waiting another 2 years for some sort of an alpha to come out. And then they have to go through like building and sustaining a hype community. Can it happen? Like so many projects have folded trying to do the same, and those that have survived now, man, it's been blood, sweat, and tears getting there, right?
Man, how many shill messages do you receive a day, bro?
Too many, dude. Under my tweets, in my DMs, I'm assuming yours is the same.
Dude, I had to shut off. I had to shut. So the way that I dealt with it is, once again, I'm always looking myself, right? But at the same time, and if someone's going to, if someone is very vocal on Twitter and not in my DMs, I'll take a look at it. But I've literally don't check my Twitter DMs. I've shut off my DMs for Discord. Well, I guess one of the other benefits is because the whale community is so full of active users within the NFT space. I get a lot of advice from there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, there's going to be so much noise, and any project that's coming out, like they got to have something really, really good to stand out. So
correct.
For me, it's more like I don't mind missing the boat on a pre-sale. I don't care getting in, missing out on getting early, but 1 year down the track, if they still have products, and usually prices don't really appreciate that much in the first year or two in a product from pre-sale to launch. Mm-hmm. Sometimes actually early investors get squeezed out. So sometimes it's a good entry opportunity, right? But man, if you miss the pre-sale, big whoop, another look, second look in the second year is still really early for a product that might last 10 years.
Is there anything you're really excited about, dude? And this is a question that I'm always, because I've seen the intuition and the due diligence that you do in all of the projects that you evaluate. Is there anything that's on your radar?
I'm definitely interested in any project that has a user base that's buzzing, even still without money. Like they don't care about the money, but they're hyped about the product. And Axie Infinity, I have to say, man, like I've ignored them for a while, but I downloaded their game about a few months ago, and I was hooked on playing that game. And every month their tournament gets more and more players, and they're really, really clever with the incentivization process. I feel like they're really ahead of the curve in actually creating. To be honest, I never thought it'd be possible to create a blockchain-based game that grows, that incentivizes everyone financially. I was like, that's too much of an issue to kind of solve. People are going to just buy the really important cards, the special ones, and then just rip the game. But somehow they made it work. And because they're still existing and, their axes or the special ones are still appreciating and the user base is growing, like it's just a no-brainer in getting in it, like that cusp of exponential growth.
Dude, and it provides, and you're spot on. I mean, the play to earn mechanism has provided, tons of players in the Philippines, right? With universal basic income.
Exactly.
Welcome to the new world. You can earn money by playing games and by supporting a project.
Exactly, man.
Right.
Yeah, obviously bullish on Decentraland because I keep in touch with them, so I know what's coming, and probably the same reason you're bullish on other projects, because for me, it's not about just investing and staying quiet. For me, it's investing and then, hassling the team and being like, yo, how can I help? Do you want to talk to this person? What's going on here? Or can I do something? Can I rehearse some events? What's some features that are coming up that I can kind of push and prepare for? So...
No, you're spot on. Once again, investing in NFT land takes on a very different scope of responsibilities. Sorry, and I use the word responsibilities because when you're vested in the growth of your assets, you're also vested in the growth of the project. And unlike crypto, you don't need to be a coder or you don't need to have technical ability to be able to contribute to these projects. The only thing that you do need to do is spread the word. Use the platform often and find ways on how you can connect the dots to make the project even greater.
Mm-hmm. I was just about to ask what would be the mind shift that needs to happen from the traditional cryptocurrency investor to people that want to explore the NFT space, and I look like you just answered it.
Dude, you and I are so in sync. Once again, I think because you and I have been in the space so long, I think you and I also understand what it takes for a project to succeed. And number one, high up on that list is community, right?
Mm-hmm. Traditionally, the community, like for cryptocurrency projects, right? Traditionally, the community meant how many people are in Discord, how many people are holding the coin, how many people are shilling the coin. But obviously, it's much different now. So when you say community, what are you referring to, like in the NFT space?
So I think when you say, and I think so, the first thing is that so it goes through a similar structure, right? Number one, how many people are, is the community advocating for your project or not, right? There's no point in having a Discord with 10,000 members, and when you look at the stats, you got 100 online, and
Yeah.
your voice and your voice chat and your text chat is all empty, right? How many people are really true advocates for your project? But once again, that's very similar to crypto, where everyone is calling Lambo and calling Moon. But I think that's the first step, right? At least have people love your project. The second thing is that people continue to buy into the project. So, right, I mean, with F, whether I buy 10F today and whether or not I buy another 20F tomorrow, maybe due to the scale of the project, it's not as important as in the NFT space, where doubling down on the size of your portfolio could make a world of difference to the operations of the team, right? So it's continuing, whether or not that community continues to invest. And the third and most important thing is whether they participate or not, right? You and I keep bringing up that shift, the role of an investor in the metaverse. There's two ways I can be an investor in the metaverse. One way is that I can just hold my land, never join the Discord, never join anything, and just wait for it to hopefully escalate in value. The second way I can do it is, because the barrier to entry for me to participate is so low, I can actually take 1 or 2 hours out of my time a day and build something awesome and join the community in fashion shows or all those other amazing events that you guys do, and truly create an organic buzz around the project, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think what we're seeing before is the community kind of crosses projects here in the NFT space. Like the same people that you see in DCL, you'll see them in Cryptovoxels and collecting art, and any new project that comes in, there's the same people. So,
dude, I mean, DCL Axes, CryptoKitties, Punks, Crypto Art. Wow, dude, I think if you took a look at any average NFT holder's portfolio, I think they would have at least 5 to 10 different projects in there.
It's interesting you brought up the whole Discord user base and consistent increase or the consistent growth of a project. For me, one of the biggest metric is, and that's why I kind of just wait and kind of shark around a little bit, is I just watch how many people keep joining the Discord. After the pre-sale, even when everything's quiet, are they continuously having people join the Discord and asking questions? And that's why I like to wait on things, because 6 months, 8 months down the track, even if there's like 10, 15 new shiny things, are people still in love with the project?
Dude, but I think that weight and approach, it works for. So one of the main reasons why I always go for the most expensive shit is, and apologies for my language, is because what you see is, and what I've tend to seen is, pre-launch, everyone buys in. Some people go for the highest end, some people go for the mid-range or the low range. Project launches, and the people that are fastest to try drive a profit or a short-term profit are those who invested in the mid to the low end range. So if that's the area that you're looking to invest in, very often the wait and see approach actually really works. On the high end, however, what you see is that you see guys who have strong hands, right? Maddie, I don't know if you know this. I've never sold a single NFT before, ever. Ever.
Didn't know
I haven't sold a single one. I've gifted people NFTs.
Probably at this stage, you'd make someone feel bad if you sold their NFT, like their art piece or something.
Dude, and the artists really don't mind, right? So the artists tell me, hey, if you ever do want to sell, please go ahead and do so. And once again, I think it's it's a very emotional attachment that you have when you actually do start to collect someone's art seriously. But it's not a record that I want to break, right?
You could put it to a DAO, actually. Maybe
it will have to be through a DAO. So as long as I'm currently making decisions on things on the vault, I probably won't sell anything. But once we have reached the critical stage for the DAO, and I expect that to be within the next 2 or 3 months, the DAO really will be the people that decide what we sell and what we don't.
So now with the DAO, if you open up a DAO, you're going to have this whole discussion of governance, which is really exciting to be part of, and there's so many challenges in governance, right? So that'll be interesting, because the conversation around like fair governance, fair value, fair voting for everyone is just such a interesting social topic experiment.
We've So, we've been looking at creating a whale DAO for, I want to say 4 months, 5 months now. What I realized, and I
Sorry,
think you might
WhaleShark.
appreciate this.
Before
Yep.
we get into it,
Mhm.
we should have done this at the start. But what is
I know,
the
go ahead.
whale? What's the whale project? I was going to
Sure.
ask you
Oh,
at the end,
sure.
but let's just explain it before we stay on the topic.
Absolutely. So, the whale is a social currency that is underpinned by the world's single most valuable collection of NFTs. So essentially what it is what I did was I took all of the NFTs that I had collected from August of 2019 all the way really up till now, and created a token that is backed by the value of all of those assets. So all of those assets.
Mhm.
Um, it's called Whale. And basically where we are today is that, we have a community of 3,000 members in our Discord. When we first launched, pricing was about, I think I saw the earliest price recorded pricing was 17.8 cents. We're trending at $10.85 today.
Nice,
Nice, right?
nice. Yeah.
And a lot of that value is not only driven by the escalating value of the NFT collection, right? The NFT collection is now worth, from the report that was launched yesterday, the NFT collection is now worth upwards of 1.4 million US dollars. But the value is really driven by, number one, having an amazing community that is very NFT focused. More and more we're seeing people from DeFi and from mainstream crypto enter. It's driven by the brand. So we're talking about the brand of the whale community itself and the brand of WhaleShark. And then also the value is being driven by a lot of these NFT mining or liquidity mining DeFi initiatives that we've driven over the last 2 months. On average, basically, people are able to get I think we were doing the calculations, but people are able to get a 20 to 80% return on investment from participating in either hold to play or any of our DeFi mechanisms every single month, not every single year,
Nice.
but every single month. Yeah, so that's pretty much where Whale is, and we aspire to be a leading force, as well as a leader in knowledge for the NFT space as it starts to blow up.
Crazy, crazy. It's such a big project, and kind of when you launched that project or you put out the whale token, it was like, whoa, this is a great experiment to watch. For me, it was like, this is a great way to kind of put all of these projects together, kind of bind them together in the one currency.
How,
So
I- I think you and I spoke about, I think because, you were extremely large on Decentraland back then. I was extremely large on Cryptovoxels. You and I had that discussion. Remember saying, how do we bring together the NFT community, regardless of whether they are, regardless of what metaverse badge or what platform badge
mhm.
they're wearing. Fractional ownership of a total vault, can very much well do that.
Mhm.
At the same time, though, I have my regrets, right? Well, why didn't I buy CryptoKitties 3 years ago? Why didn't I buy Punks 3 years ago? Why didn't I buy DCL 2 or 3 years ago, right? We all have our regrets. But as a steward of the vault, my main purpose has always been to say, hey, how much headroom is left for escalating value? So that's the first thing. And then the second thing, in terms of positioning, maybe the Vault and Whale provides further diversification
Mhm.
for people who haven't entered these projects instead. Right?
Right, right. Yeah, that's very interesting. DCL is a very interesting case because it started off with a hype. It started
Mm-hmm.
off with money, and it started off with land prices that was already astronomical. So it played catch up in terms of utility.
Mm-hmm.
With Cryptovoxels, it was the opposite, right? It was just like,
Yep.
he was just putting out land there. People paid what they wanted. And then the
Mm-hmm.
utility is what grew the value. And the community and the utility is what grew the value of those land prices. So
Correct. And
it's a different experiment because DCL, I think, was one of the only ones, CryptoKitties as well, and whoever was
mhm.
born in that period. But yeah.
Yep. Dude, I remember I learned about DCL actually from you actually. So back then
All right.
when you first hopped onto the GU server and you started posting some amazing, really amazing and guys, if you haven't had a chance to look at Maddie's previous videos, you should. Just seeing you go through the financials and the economics of Gods Unchained, really led me to understand that you are a very serious investor in the NFT space. took a look at DCL, watched a lot of the YouTube videos. I think there was was there a mainstream video done by Vice or a major mainstream outlet, and people were fanatic about it.
There's a couple of
right?
ones. Yeah.
They were fanatic about it. They weren't going to release their plot of land until it hit $1 million,
Yeah.
right? So, I think every single project has its own life cycle. The main reason why I started with CV first was because, number one, it was a much smaller project, so the room for value escalation was a little bit more there for me. And the second reason why I went into Cryptovoxels was because I'm a big fan of use case, right? It was very clearly defined for me that back then, it's not the case anymore, but back then, the number one choice of a metaverse to be able to display art with crypto art was Cryptovoxels. Today, what you see is that artists are in DCL, they are going to be in the sandbox, and they are in CV. Right.
Yeah.
So I think that will continue to spread, and it's not going to be a winner takes all. Every single project is going to have its niche.
I agree. I think as the space develops, it's, people are going to, maybe I'll have some land in CV and Decentraland, and it's a way to kind of participate in different communities and different ways to build things. Sandbox is obviously very different, being more gamified, but still very interesting.
Correct. The way that I used to see it, and I think the lines are blurring a tiny bit now, Maddie, but the way I used to see it, I saw CV is going to be the center for art, DCL is going to be the center for social activity, and after that, Sandbox is going to be the center for games. But now what you see is the lines are blurring across all three platforms now. Yeah.
You know what's really interesting that I've noticed as well is that before this whole craze about a month ago, it was all Decentraland, Cryptovoxels, Somnium Space, or it was like the metaverse projects kind of leading the way. The top 5 would have at least 2 of them in there. Now the metaverse projects are like right at the end. They're like under 10 on OpenSea rankings, and I'm like, oh shit, like.
Bro, it will come back again, and I know that the top spots have been taken by crypto art now, right?
Pretty much.
So. This is what I think is going to happen, bro. So I've always been a proponent of the fact that the best use case of NFT technology has always been with digital art, because it's an existing problem that needs to be solved for the total world. We're not even talking about a problem that needs to be solved for crypto. It's a problem that needs to be solved for the entire art industry, right? And NFTs do that. The second problem that we are going to encounter after that is, hey, now I have all this digital art. Where am I going to put it? Right? So I think it's cyclical, dude. I think it's cyclical.
No, I think you're right, man. The whole NFT, what NFTs can actually do in the digital art space and for musicians and creators and artists is just like, that's why it's all working so well. That's why artists are coming here by the droves and collectors are collecting their stuff. That's like a working model, right?
Absolutely.
And we haven't even scratched the surface. We're still in a bear market.
Dude, we haven't scratched the surface in terms of projects within the NFT space. We haven't scratched the surface in terms of the ecosystem. When you take a look at NFT loans, NFT insurance, NFT fractional ownership, we haven't scratched the surface in terms of mainstream adoption. Once again, I think things like NBA Top Shots and Nifty Gateway do a great job of putting blockchain in the back and putting the user experience first. There are so many, while the space is already this mature, there's still so much headroom to grow into, right?
Yeah. I'm just so excited, man. It's just like, I've been in this space and I've seen $100,000 sales happen, $200,000 sales happen. And yeah, it has a hype phase and then it dies down. But the moment that everyone in crypto is paying attention, we started saying, we were having BBC cover us for a $200,000 land sale. Yeah, it was big, but man, they've seen nothing yet. We're going to see millions of dollars moving through these lands and art and whatever NFT spaces might bring. It's just it's such a, I guess, sexy topic to cover for mainstream. Like, whoa, this virtual land sold for X amount. Oh, this virtual art sold for this amount. I know it's very viral friendly, and that's one of my reasons why I invest in these spaces.
Dude, I think someone asked, when are we going to see the first $1 million crypto art sale, right? Dude, I mean, Super Rare just announced that they passed $3 million. To pass that initial $1 million, it took 2 years. To pass that $2 million, I think they took a few months. And to get to $3 million, It's heating up, right?
It is.
Um,
It's
you know,
setting up for an exponential kind of just run. Yeah.
correct, and they'll become a media darling simply because of the amount of money that's entering the space.
Hmm. Yeah, money brings news, and then news brings more money, basically. So it's that
Correct.
cycle.
But similar to you and I think that, one of the themes that I've been trying to tell people or trying to advise people on is that, when NFT season, as Xcopy likes to say, when
Hmm.
NFT season or crypto art season starts, this isn't, they're non-fungible tokens. They're not fungible tokens. It's not ERC20, it's ERC 721. Not anybody who holds an NFT is going to benefit, right?
That's
One of the
true.
catchphrases I tried to say is there are going to be tastemakers and there are going to be loss makers, right?
Hmm.
So, once again, do your due diligence. And when I talk about tastemakers, I mean choose the correct project. Choose something with legs. Choose something that's stable. Choose something that that has a team that can really back up what they say. And then in terms of choosing your NFTs, make sure you choose something that really is going to escalate
Hmm.
in value and not something so common that it's going to be traded for pennies.
Exactly. Exactly. Good. Good points, man. What's your short term vision? I'm assuming you just kind of pump up the vault, kind of go on a buying spree and keep like adding cool stuff to it. What's your long term vision? What stuff that you have on the back burner that no one's really heard about yet? You're excited to.
So I think there are a couple. The first thing is that I need everyone to understand that, Whale is not a 2-year project, 3-year project, or even a 10-year project. For me and the team, with Whale, we're looking to create a 100-year project, right?
Dope.
And while the main enabler for digital ownership might be NFTs today, I hope that the whale community long term. So, Maddie, sorry, I'm taking your long term and turning it into like a century long term.
Yeah.
It's
It's like
it's really, yeah, go ahead.
no. I'm just saying it's a very very long term.
It's to keep abreast of the technology, right? And
Mhm.
I think our lives can only continue to become more digital moving forward. Digital asset ownership is only going to continue to progress. In 100 years, today I can say that the Vault is the largest owner of NFTs. In 100 years, I really want to say that the Vault is the largest holder of TFNs, right? Or whatever that evolves into in
Mhm.
terms of digital ownership. So I think that's the first thing. I want this to last well beyond my lifetime. The second thing on the long-term horizon, and Maddie, you know this about me, I love art, right?
Mhm.
Not only the financial aspect of it, I love the creation process. I love understanding the creators behind the art, and I love sharing that art. One of the ideas that I've been thinking about, and I've spoken with Jim McNellis too about it. At some point in time, how do you take digital art or crypto art and bridge the gap between traditional and digital? Um, One day I would love to have a whale MoMA or a crypto art MoMA that can really stand as a testament to the growth of all these amazing artists and all these amazing pieces, right?
Mhm.
How do you form that bridge? I think that's another long-term vision that we have. Um, I can't wait to see what happens, dude. I mean,
Mhm.
honestly, I think even in a longer term or mid or longer term, seeing the expansion of the metaverse, seeing how people interact with that, seeing the growth of the projects, seeing the growth of the use cases within those projects, and ultimately seeing the growth of a financial aspect of those projects, such as metaverse rental,
Mhm.
um, being able to sustain a cash flow from virtual property.
Yeah.
Those are all things that I hope to see in the long run.
Yeah, nice man. Like I remember when I first bought my Decentraland land, I was like, "Ooh, how many apartments can I build in this land, and how much can I rent them for, and how much money am I going to make from just renting by cash flow?" And I had like my formulas worked out, and I was like, "Damn, I'm gonna get like 20k, 20 to 50k per month." It's just
Yeah.
obviously all dreams, but it is a long-term vision thing. The way DCL was built was that they've got funding for the next 10 years, a vested contract that puts 22 million mana in the hands of the DAO every 2 years. So there's
Hmm.
that incentive to increase the amount of price. So hopefully there'll be tens of millions of dollars going into development from the community. And any project that I've seen survive or that will survive, whether it be Decentraland, Sandbox, or whoever it is, metaverse or not metaverse, is those that are going to have a long-term vision and a long-term plan beyond the hype and the partnerships and all that.
Dude, I think that's a true testament to any single project. I mean, one of the things that I love seeing, maybe you enjoy this too, is, has a project encountered the shittiest situation that you can possibly imagine and still stood there and push forward to break new heights, right? Overcoming failure is one of the main things I love whenever I see a single project, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. For me, it was like DCL launch. It was like, DCL was just so hyped up to be this amazing platform. And I knew that during launch, people were going to expect like games everywhere and traffic everywhere. But the way DCL was set up was it was just so bulky and laggy for even 50 to 100, even 50 people in the same spot, or even 20 people in the same spot would have lagged up your screen. So I remember during launch, like for that week or two, everyone was just, the team was just kind of, fighting fires, and everyone was like hating on DCL. And 3 months, 6 months later, they have a much better product. And
correct.
I mean, I can say a lot with DCL only because I'm part of it, but I'm sure there's multiple projects out there that, you've seen how they handle issues, and they've come out with better funding and a better product.
Absolutely. If you have funding, if you have your team, if you have the determination, and if you're still standing, then there's still a chance that you're going to succeed in the future. It's those projects that just start up and close down in 3 months, right? And then everyone is left holding bags. It just gives, not even the NFT space, but it gives crypto in general like a horrible name, right?
Exactly.
So, don't be a loss maker, be a taste maker like Maddie. Make sure you do your due diligence, and don't invest in shitcoins, right?
That's the bottom line. Dude, talking about shitcoins, I'm not naming any specific projects, but I just remember seeing like an art token, an NFT token, and I was like, dude, come on, you're just setting yourself up to be a shitcoin.
There are and Maddie, I think you've seen this from my Twitter, but everybody and their grandmother and now their great-grandmother is creating a social token or an NFT token, right?
Yeah.
I keep repeating the same thing whenever I see a pump and see a certain coin, right? Or many certain coins, jump up, one coin jumped up to 1,700 and now they're trending at 300, right?
Exactly.
I can understand the allure of short-term profits, and I can understand, and you before being a trader, and I understand that you're now moving towards the investor side, right? Yeah. There's a lot of money to be made in short-term trading, but I can tell you that nobody makes some people, and then after they start a YouTube channel, but not a lot of people make hundreds of millions of dollars by trading, right?
That's true. Yeah, man, you're right. I mean, that's the benefit of being in the bear cycle, is that you watch the space, you watch the slow periods, the negative 95% altcoins that once the utility is kind of looked for, there's nothing there, right? So yeah, I agree with you, man. And on that topic and on that note, let's end it here. WhaleShark, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on and being my first guest. I'm sure people would enjoy this. Is there any place you'd like people to find you or be part of your project?
Absolutely. So they can find us at the Whale Discord. So that would be discord.gg/whale, WHALE. They're more than happy to try find me on Twitter, whaleshark.pro. But Maddie, I mean, once again, it's been a true honor to finally have the chance to speak to you one-to-one. I know that you and I trade messages weekly in the space, and being your first guest, it's just been a total honor for me. So thank you so much for everything that you do and everything that you bring to the space. My pleasure, man. My pleasure. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. First episode, so hope you guys tune into the next one. I will have another guest announced soon. But yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.